Hello, perceptive readers. Here is another Sunday thought. And when I say Sunday thought, please reference the Blue Gold Iron podcast that I made a few weeks back. Uh, I have to start off with a laugh as well because when I stepped outside today, it was so quiet. And then within probably a minute or so, even though the dogs are, in their different homes, at a good distance away from me. Apparently, they just started talking. They probably talking about me saying, he's getting ready to make one of those podcasts again. So, they just started barking or talking. But it was completely quiet when I first walked outside. And I want to talk about reading and even along with the appreciation for what you learn from reading. Um, this past week, I was actually trying to find uh, a quiet time of something that I did want to read for you. And it's interesting because I've always thought about the next type of major book that I would write or what have you. I had everything set in my mind how I wanted to do it perfectly, from the settings that I would be writing it in, etc. We're all the same. It's not there yet. But all the same, this past week I was reading the Holy Bible in Proverbs chapter 16. And the reason why I, selected uh, that section is because you are able to see life in those sections, and also the wisdom of God, of what, his counsel is. You see, uh, the acknowledgement, the ability to see exactly still what's going on in life on this earth. And there's encouragement as well. But the point is, I didn't have a quiet time in the morning. There was a lot of commotion going on this past week, so I didn't get to read it for you. So I'm referencing it today as a Sunday thought. Proverbs chapter 16. Now, the other statement that I want to go along with that is, when you see someone who is good at their job, uh, over people, companies, and things of that nature, what I would say 9 times out of 10, they have been very, it's a word used, voracious readers, or what have you. They loved reading. Well, I'm not going to say loved, but maybe they did, because see, I actually have only met maybe a very few persons who were successful in business in that way that said that they hated reading. So, I just don't normally see that. But the whole point is, that's why I'm saying voracious readers, that they really do enjoy reading, especially if it's something that's worth reading. And so when you run into individuals like that, uh, you heard me talk about in the Blue Gold Iron book as well about, as far as my writings, as far as, there's some people you can just listen to, just talk about anything all day long. And sometimes you say, well, not only do they have the tone, the voice, and things of that nature, but see, it's the knowledge. And where is that knowledge coming from? See, that knowledge has come from research, it has come from reading, from spiritual to technical books. Now, this is what I want to still say about persons who even read a lot of spiritual books and have gotten degrees and things of that nature over the years. I really want to emphasize that I realize just how highly intelligent they really are. They really are. And so, you know, sometimes you see situations that are so complicated that it's almost like, okay, how in the world am I going to resolve this, or at least help in this way, without without me really showing the cards of my hands, or what have you at times. And when I say without showing the cards of my hand, I really do mean that still in a very honorable, upright way, just like back in the day when the knights had to ride on horses in those different games and tournaments, and they fought one another. Remember, they still had their shields. They still was protecting their parts that could someone could throw a death blow at them or what have you. They protected those. So we do the same thing in life, and that's why we have such thing called as what. A privacy. You see your own personal space that I keep emphasizing that that's to be should be respected and protected. You see, but all the same, sometimes even with all this knowledge, great knowledge that a lot of people accumulate, they still realize there are some complicated situations that man can still kind of like shake you to your core because you want to do what's right. And yet when you look at how to resolve even a situation, it's almost like, yeah, uh, it'll bring maybe balance to the situation, but still realizing that you're just not going to be able to please everybody. You know what I mean? Even the persons you want them to be happy, but all you can do is just say, well, with maturity and time, maybe they'll get it why you made the decisions the way that you made them. And see, and that's one thing that I realized from maybe even persons who I've known who don't agree with me, you see, anymore about this way or that way. Uh, I do feel that a lot of the stuff that I still continue to read, I still continue to meditate on it, and the Holy Bible that I'm telling you. Uh, all I can just tell you about what reading about Jesus' life has done for me. See, it continues to show me, at least, even though I'm not there emotionally, I can tell you that right now. Even though I'm not there emotionally, you'll see what I mean. But it does still show me why emotionally Jesus was so still moved with love to come and talk to people, uh, to actually try to convince ones whose heart was ready to be convinced, and then still to tell the ones who he convinced to an elevated a life, but this is still how I want you to treat the persons who are not agreeable to you at all. And see, and that's and that's a hard thing to do in this world that we live in at times. You see, when really persons have such a stand against you as enemies, that man, make no mistake about there's many ways persons fight you, and it's really in ways that sometimes I got to tell you, I didn't even realize that they would be able to have the authority still to do such a thing to you. As in the civilization like the United States of America. Um, but that's for another topic. So what I am continuing to say is, you know, I've always understood when I always, but I understood very quickly once I just had to face it, that people do the best that they can, even the very highly intelligent ones. And so sometimes, and I've referenced this for some persons who's not even on this earth at this time anymore, or in the ground, should I say, is that sometimes, such persons, because of their background, they really do feel, I know I can take care of that situation or handle that situation, what have you. And then because of the whole situation that some people said, man, and we thought we seen everything. And then they come to find out after those many years of experience and reading, about this account, it's like, here it is. We thought we saw everything. And now what has God revealed to us even more on the level of what things happen and function? So with that being said, I still realize there's a lot that I still haven't at least seen, you see, as far as the scope of it. But what I've always just kind of told persons in the past, at least, if they really wanted to help the situation, I always just said, just give me this basic thing. And when I say give me this basic thing, it's not that when persons really look at it reasonably, that I did earn it. You know, Personality wise, people might, because people can start talking about the way that you talk or act towards others at times. But and like I said, it's just like that in that case. It's just like that. But if a person can still function every day and do a job, you see what I'm saying? And they're doing the job, and they are respectable human beings, even though they got different levels of temperament. Then that's why I said again, some persons have come to find they don't ask much, and what they ask for, when you really think about it, they did pay their dues for it. They did put in, you know, um, what was required for it. And when you really think about it, if they really loved their job or what they were doing, they more than even overcompensated, maybe, for what it was that they were asking, whether it was a wage or something of that nature. You see? This was a Sunday thought. I hope you would take the time to read Proverbs chapter 16, because it still has encouragement. It has the reality as well of what we deal with. And so have a very wonderful Sunday.